that hat wants a championship, and to get one for Greg in that city would be just the icing on the cake.
Welcome to episode 333 of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast. I'm Joe McFarland, and welcome to part one of our WCBL season preview extravaganza. That's right, we are doing a two-part setup for the coming summer in the Western Canadian Baseball League. This edition of the show is dedicated to the East Division. We'll have the West Division ready for you on Wednesday, just in time for opening day, which will be that night with Medicine Hat at home to face Okotoks. If you haven't already, check out all of the fantastic written preview stories done up by Ian on our websites, albertadugoutstories.com and saskatchewandugoutstories.com. Also, make sure to subscribe to the WCBL's YouTube channel, as IKS Media out of Regina has taken things over from the broadcasting side of things. They've been releasing coaches' interviews, and they had Ian and I on a massive season preview show, which will be hitting the airwaves this week. A couple of big themes I hinted at during that show. Number one, last year it felt like any team could beat any other team on any given night. And the way teams have been recruiting this offseason, I have no reason to believe the same won't hold true again this summer. And number two, everyone is 0-0 right now. So any predictions made right now should be thrown right into the wood chipper. Although I have to admit, I said Saskatoon over Okotoks. Again, it's a really, really early take. Please don't put my picture up on any bulletin boards. Don't put it on any dart boards. It's early. Anything and everything can happen. Probably will happen. Here on the show, we wanted to leave no stone unturned and make sure every team was represented, so we have some shorter conversations with players from each of the teams heading your way. The caveat here is we also aim to get you some homegrown talent for every team, so it's all Saskatchewan players in the East and all Alberta teams in the West. We'll do things in reverse playoff finish order, meaning we'll start in Swift Current. The 57s finished with a 16-39 record last season and will be looking to get back to their winning ways in 2025. They have a new president in Jamie LeBlanc and a new head coach in Rudy Estrella, who served as assistant to Jason Vena last year. They have a few familiar faces returning like Jose Ayala and Brody Alexander. Another name to keep an eye on will be Adam Korte. The Munster native went 3-5 with a 5.62 ERA in 16 games last season. He's coming off a really strong spring where he was named Mondac All-Conference after going 6-1 with a 5.05 ERA in 13 appearances at Dawson Community College. Adam, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Nice to be here.
The WCBL season is upon us. How excited are you to get things rolling?
Really excited. It's a really fun league to be in, travel all different types of places, meet a bunch of people. It's nice.
What's your favorite place you've been so far in the league?
Okotoks was pretty cool last year. Lethbridge is pretty cool. There's some of those Alberta teams have some pretty cool places to go play. So
for sure. And I know you've played in all the Sasky ones growing up there, originally from Munster. What's it mean to you to be able to play in your home province during the summer in front of fans, family and friends?
It means a lot, just being able to kind of play in front of a ton of people and have a lot of family and friends come out and watch, and have even some friends and cousins play in the league and all that. So I get to play against them. It's a really good experience, and yeah, it's really nice.
Last year, you spent some time with the 57s as well, 3-5, a 5.63 ERA, 49 strikeouts. Looking back with 2020 hindsight, how did you feel about your performance?
For the first year, kind of getting my feet wet, it felt like it went relatively well. I was pretty happy with it. I mean, I was a freshman coming in, and I'm playing against a bunch of guys older than me, and I'm a bit older now, and I'm hoping to improve on that.
Did you have that moment first home game where you step foot on the rubber and you had to take that step back and go, okay, this is kind of cool. Like, here I am where I kind of wanted to be at some point during the course of my career?
Yeah. The 57s asked me probably a couple days before the season started to come out because they needed more pitching. And I just said, why not? And packed my bags the next day, went down there, and kind of remember my first start against Fort McMurray. And I was kind of like, whoa, like, this has kind of been my goal for a little while. And it was a really cool moment for me.
Fantastic. Now, heading into this summer, anything you've been working on or things you've wanted to clean up to get even better and become an even bigger piece of the puzzle for the 57s?
Yeah, I think I've worked a lot on just kind of my pitches all around. I mean, I'm all way more in the zone now than I was last summer, so I think that's going to help me out too. Just, I always think don't hurt yourself, make them hurt you, so that's kind of been what I've been focusing on.
It's a good one. When you look back at last year, what was the biggest learning moment or learning curve you had to overcome to make sure that you weren't in over your head kind of thing?
There was a couple times where, I get up there and I kind of felt outmatched, and I go back after the game and kind of talk to the coach and say, listen, I gotta change something up, because there's one game in particular I remember against Sylvan Lake, and they rocked me, and I had went to our coach and I was like, I need to change something up, and I had a few good starts after that. So yeah, that was kind of a learning curve for me.
Speaking of coaches, you had Jason Vanneste last year. This year, you've got a familiar face and a new old face with last year's assistant, Rudy Estrella. You had him last year. What's he bring to the table as a coach in your eyes?
He just brings such a good energy to the team. He's a really good dude. And when I seen he was going to be the coach, I was really excited. He asked me to come back, and it was immediate yes. The city's awesome, and they got an assistant coach there, Kenny, who I played with last year, and he knows a lot about baseball, so I'm looking to learn a little bit from him too this summer.
You segued really well into my next question, which was about Mr. Kenny Jinks. I mean, this is a guy who's kind of become a legend of sorts in Swift Current. What are you hoping to learn from him, or tap into that brain a little bit to be able to be like he was for the last few years in Swift Current?
Yeah, well, I'll have lots of time to kind of pick his brain on what works in this league, because he was really successful. So kind of just go throughout the season, ask him different things, and it'll be a good experience. I'm a big Kenny Jinks fan, so I was excited when I seen he was going to come coach for us too.
I think there's a lot of Kenny Jinks fans around the WCBL for sure. Final question for you here, Adam, and then we'll let you go. What would it mean to you to help bring a WCBL championship to Swift Current?
It would mean a lot. Kind of always look at I'm always on kind of underdog teams, and I'd look at the 57s as an underdog team, but I think we have a good group of guys, and I think it would mean a lot to the city to kind of bring back that winning culture that they used to have back in the days they were the Indians.
Absolutely. Well, wish you the best of luck in your second season in the WCBL, Adam. Congrats on all the success at this point, and best of luck this summer.
Thank you.
Up next is the Weyburn Beavers and hometown kid Keaton Husband. The right-hander got in one at-bat at home as an affiliated player with the team last year against Medicine Hat, and is hoping to do a lot more this summer. In particular, he'll be looking to spend some more time on the mound for Cam Williams and company, where he starred with Minnesota West Community College this spring. He went 4-2 with a 7.38 ERA in 9 games, striking out 21 in 39 innings of work, including a trio of complete games.
Keaton, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yes, absolutely.
How excited are you to get the season going with the Weyburn Beavers?
I'm very excited. Looking forward to playing for my hometown. Grew up watching the Beavers, so it's pretty special to be able to play for them this summer.
You got into one game, if memory serves, last season. I know the score wasn't great when you guys were playing Med Hat, but how cool was it to be there in that park that you grew up watching games in, and you obviously played in there as well, hoping to get up on that stage like you did?
Yes, absolutely. I got one pinch hit at bat in my senior year of high school, and it was definitely a very surreal moment from watching guys come to Weyburn and play for the Weyburn Beavers. And I was a 10th man once when I was about in 3rd grade, and so it was really cool to walk out in the same field and be wearing a Beavers uniform and trying to help my team win.
Who did you grow up idolizing when you were watching the Beavers play?
There was one catcher named Corey. I don't even know his last name, but there was a catcher named Corey, and he would come to our baseball practices, and his work ethic, I really idolized that. He was a hard-nosed guy, knew his stuff, and just was willing to pass his knowledge on to an 8-year-old that just wanted to know everything there was to know about the game.
That is fantastic. Now, you're coming off your first full season of college ball as well. The numbers are one thing, but I always ask this. How did you feel about your freshman campaign?
My freshman campaign was definitely, I was proud of it. Being a 17-year-old kid who went down to a different country, had to learn a lot about being on his own. I would say I had a pretty good freshman season. I went 4-2 with a couple really strong complete games, and just looking to do that for the Beavers. Maybe not in the sense of starting, but just going out and giving solid innings and making sure I'm just helping my team.
What was the bigger learning curve for you going down there? Was it the baseball, or was it having to cook for yourself?
Well, probably having to cook for myself, because I've played baseball my whole life. I understand the game on a pretty deep level, but I never really had to cook for myself. I was fortunate enough that I had a mom and a dad who valued nutrition very much as I was growing up, and they were able to cook for me all the way through. So cooking for myself was probably the biggest learning curve.
So when you get back home after your spring down south and you walk in the doors, you drop your bags and you say, "Mom, Dad, I want you to make this for supper tonight."
It'd definitely be steak and mashed potatoes. That's my go-to for whenever they ask me what I want for supper. I always say steak and mashed potatoes. Get some good protein and some good carbs in, and away we go.
No more pasta from college, right?
No more pasta from college. I think I got my pasta intake for the next 3 years this year.
I can only imagine. So coming into this summer and obviously looking ahead to the next fall as well as you get ready for your sophomore season, what kinds of things are you hoping to work on?
Getting my velocity up. I'm not a very big, daunting guy, so throwing harder at only 5'10" is a little bit of an advantage. Making sure that my off-speed stay good. My off-speed is my main pitch, is my curveball slider combo. Is something that I would like to work on throughout this year and see that develop into more wipeout stuff rather than soft contact stuff. But definitely just my velocity and keeping up with my secondary pitches and making sure those are on point.
And this summer as well, you've got some big arms on that roster that you can kind of lean on for advice and words of wisdom. I think about Ian Heck as an example. Ethan Webster, you got to see last year too. He's coming off a CCBC Pitcher of the Year. What are you hoping to learn from vets like that?
Just the routine. What a big thing of my that I want to gain knowledge on is what does their routine look like on game day and an off day, right? Because lots of guys approach the game very differently. Some guys are a get up early and put my work in early, and some guys are late workers, right? And I just want to understand their viewpoint on certain things like that. Like Ian Hex, he throws hard. Mm-hmm. I would like to know how he got to that point, because there's a point where talent gets you, but then there's also a point to where hard work takes you. And I think that I would just love to learn from him on how do you control yourself on the field, off the field, like just kind of those housekeeping items that are often like looked over, mm-hmm. but coaches look at.
For sure. On a personal level, do you have any expectations or goals of yourself heading into the summer?
Just to do what I can to help my team win would probably be my biggest goal. I understand I'm not the big dog on this team. I understand that I am more of a bullpen arm than a starting arm, which is much different from Minnesota West. I was a starting pitcher. I was given the ball and told go out and get them. And playing for Cham, it'll be a lot different just because I'll be used differently. And I think that a goal would be that just when I get in there, quality innings, I go and do my job. Get outs. Don't try to blow them away, but just get outs, because that's the key to my success.
100%. Final question for you here, Keaton. What would it mean to you to take home a WCBL championship with the Weyburn Beavers?
Well, back to the hometown thing. Bringing a championship home to my hometown of Weyburn would be extremely, in my eyes, successful. I watched the Weyburn Beavers when I was growing up, walking out on that field. I remember sitting in the stands watching those guys and wanting to be like them, just because as a kid, you just want to be like the older guys, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think if we were able to bring home a championship, it would just mean a lot to my city and to my family about, like, I'm truly bringing it home because it's where I was born and raised.
Absolutely. Well, best of luck this season. Congrats on all the success you've had at this point. Continued success in Weyburn and beyond, Keaton. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yes, thank you very much, Joe. I appreciate it.
We head now to Medicine Hat, who finished second in the division during the regular season with a 33-23 record, but fell in the first round of the playoffs to Saskatoon. They would like to get back to the form that got them to the 2023 WCBL Championship Series against Okotoks. They'll have a new head coach, Jonathan Thornhill, and plenty of new faces in the dugout. One who will not be new is Tyler Vanneste, who hit .367 with 4 homers and 30 RBI last summer. The Warman product spent the spring at California State University at Bakersfield, snagging a .342 average with 5 homers and 45 RBI in 41 games. He'd like to replicate that success again in sunny southeastern Alberta.
Tyler, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
I know you've already been able to get back home and enjoy the house, but do you already have that team trip planned for Warman again?
A couple of weeks ago, I was actually talking with my parents about it, and they're like, "Yeah, we gotta see," because I think my brother's got graduation that week too, so might be a busy week at the house. That's for sure.
That's not a bad one. How cool was it though, looking back on it, to show the team the ropes, show them where you grew up, and have a little bit of fun and some team bonding at the same time?
Yeah, I think it was good to show them, and it was fun. Obviously, it was kind of earlier in the season, so it kind of helped bring a lot of the guys together, which I thought was definitely something we wanted and needed. So, and yeah, everyone got to see where I grew up, and obviously lots being from all over America was a little bit different. So that aspect was pretty cool for them.
I know that you had a big feast in the whole nine, but did either of your parents roll out some photo albums and show off baby Tyler photos?
I think some guys were trying to get at him, but I don't think they managed to find where they were at. They were too busy reloading food, so they forgot it out.
I can only imagine. Take us into that first time stepping foot at Cairns. I mean, that's a place that you grew up getting to play in. That had to have been something special, having the family there and the whole nine.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Obviously, hadn't played there in 4 or 5 years, so it was good to be back there and kind of just see how baseball's growing there. And obviously, play in front of all my family and friends, which I hadn't done in a long time. So that was pretty special for sure.
Absolutely. Obviously, we could spend a lot of time talking about last year, but let's focus on this year. How stoked are you to get the season going with Medicine Hat Mavericks?
Oh, I'm pumped. I mean, nothing beats playing in Medicine Hat in the summer, and that's why I'm coming back for my last year and last ride. So I think want to get after it, and been talking with some of the boys, and we're ready to have some fun this year.
What's made it so special for you in Med Hat?
I think it's just a A-plus organization. I mean, Greg runs a great program and treats us so well that, I mean, it's so hard to not go back there every year. So I'm just everything about it's just been a blast. So
looking ahead to that roster, you've got a few returning players, but a lot of fresh faces as well. What do you see when you look at that thing on paper?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked into it too much, but I mean, we do got a lot of new faces coming in, so I think those first weeks will be big, just getting everyone friends with each other and everyone meeting each other and starting to grind. So I think it looks like we got a lot of good players coming in, so hopefully give us a nice deep run.
As a veteran, do you have a message in mind of what you want to tell the new guys, or kind of the atmosphere and climate that you want to make sure that they encapsulate over the summer?
I mean, the biggest thing is it's a grind. I mean, it's definitely not an easy summer. There's a lot of games to play, and so just take care of your body, but also you got to have fun. I mean, teams that have the most fun out there are going to win a lot of games. So I think that's one thing we bring. We play a gritty game, but I think we have a lot of fun, and that's something that helps us out.
You were part of the team that went to the championship in 2023. How do you get there in 2025?
I think we just got to get hot at the right time, and I think last year we cooled off a little bit near the end, but overall we had a good year. But just play each game and win each inning all year long, and they'll stack up and get hot at the right time, and I think we look pretty good.
For sure. A new coach at the helm as well. Have you been able to chat with Coach Thornhill yet? Talk us through what your expectations are that way this summer.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him yet. Just been talking with Greg, mostly in the off season, and so obviously, new face, and Kev's not back, but I think it sounds like he's going to do a good job. I talked with some of his former players, and they liked him a lot. So be excited to meet him and see what he's got in store for us.
I don't know if you've heard, but the Medicine Hat Tigers have won the WHL championship. They're obviously going on a run for the Mem Cup as well. But how cool is it going to be to bring possibly that trophy in, maybe a little bit more, and maybe stoke some fires for a WCBL championship too?
Yeah, I mean, we could get like a little city of champions going, get WHL and a WCBL or something. That would be great. But I think it's just built the energy up for the city of Medhat, and obviously sports are hot there right now. So
for sure. Final question for you here, and then we'll let you go. What would it mean to you to take home a WCBL championship with Medicine Hat Mavericks?
I mean, that's the ultimate goal. I mean, this is my last year, and so I want to have a lot of fun and go out with a bang for sure. And I know the city of Medhat wants a championship, and to get one for Greg in that city would be just the icing on the cake.
For sure. Well, Tyler, really appreciate the time. Congrats on the season down south. Best of luck here in Medicine Hat this summer, and thanks again for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Winning the division last season was the Regina Red Sox, who went 38-18 before they were upset in the first round by Moose Jaw. They'll have another familiar face back on the mound in the form of hometown kid Zander Oudie-Senger, who had spent the previous few seasons with Okanagan College before taking this spring off for personal reasons. He's planning to go all in this summer and help the Red Sox to a stronger playoff push. Last season, he went 3-1 with a 4.80 ERA in 19 games.
Zander, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Absolutely, thank you for having me.
How excited are you to get things rolling with the Regina Red Sox once again?
Oh, I'm so excited. A lot of those guys are returning, and they're all great guys. We do Bible study and everything, so I'm really excited to looking forward and getting back up there and playing with them, being with them.
You had a great season last season, fell short in the playoffs, though, so I'm curious, how do you bounce back from that first? And second, how do you make sure that doesn't happen again?
I think it's just what we do every day last year at the field. Just keep the same mentality we always do. Play our game the right way, do the right things, the small things, and we do that, it'll eventually go our way sometimes. I know I'm 0-6 in the playoffs with the Red Sox, but, everything does happen like that. It's baseball, but we just got to stick to our game.
Mm-hmm. As a veteran in that room, what's your message to some of those guys who might be new to the program and just trying to figure things out?
It's a long season, but everything, everybody has ups and downs during this football season. And if we can just stick to what we know best, the small things, the little things, strikes, we'll win a lot of games, I believe.
As a guy who's born and raised in Regina, do you play tour guide for the new guys and show them some of the sights and sounds around town?
Oh, yeah, a little bit. I like to go to Wascana with a couple of the guys and, just show them different parts of the city. And there's not much to do in Regina, but if you show them around, there's a lot of nice places you can see and a lot of nice people you can meet.
How cool is the league in your eyes for that? Because you're seeing guys from all walks of life, all over, not just Canada, but the U.S. and all over the world, especially Regina. You always seem to have an international flavor to it. So how cool is it to bring it all together and show them a piece of your homeland?
Oh, it's amazing. I love my city. I always have loved my city. I never will not love it. And I don't know, there's the smaller things I've noticed about Regina are always the better things. And bringing those cultures from the States and Latin America too, I don't know, they pick up a lot from it. I feel like they've learned a lot of our slang, like A and everything. They love it up here, and I love showing them around and just teaching the culture of Regina,
Mm-hmm. Take us into your mind as you step up on the hill and you get to look into this crowd that is your home ballpark.
It feels really good. I don't know, there's a lot of things going on in my mind, but at the same time, I just try to tune everything out and treat it like another day. Just have fun at the field. I'm in my hometown in front of 600 to 1,200 fans, and I don't know. I can never take it for granted. I love it all the time.
Mm-hmm. How special is it to be able to do it in front of friends and family for the last few years, too?
Oh, it's been unbelievable, especially billeting a lot of these guys, too, coming up, and wanted to win a ring like them. And for the city, who hasn't won it since 2012, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know. Everything about this city and baseball there just has my heart with it.
Absolutely. How cool is it getting to learn from a guy like Rye, who's going to be inducted into the Saskatchewan Baseball Hall of Fame this summer?
Oh, unbelievably. Oh, he's such a great coach. I have nothing but the best words to say about that man. He's done so much for the team, so much for the city of baseball in Regina. And he's just a great coach, great guy all the way around, wants to be around the guys. And I can't be blessed for such a great coach like him.
Looking ahead to this summer, do you have any expectations or goals of yourself, making sure that you leave it all out in the field?
Just trying to keep an even mind, calm mind. Sometimes I let the emotions get the best of me during a game, but I feel like that's one thing that I want to really work on this summer. Just, let my emotions stay in check and let the game play it how it is.
Getting back to the hometown thing for a second, is there anything that you like, whether it's making yourself or maybe a dining spot around town that you want to make sure that the guys take in and grab a bite to eat at?
Ooh, I don't really go out too much, but if there was one place I would say, there's like this Mexican place downtown. It's called Blanco's, and they make amazing tacos there. So that's one place I want to take some of the guys. I think they like it.
Fantastic. If you don't go out much, obviously you've got to cook a little bit. Do you do much on the culinary side, and do you make meals for the teammates too?
I don't know about the teammates, but I do a lot of meal prepping during the summer and try to, keep my body intact and keep all the healthy parts going. So in the morning, it's a lot of yogurt and a lot of beef at night. Fair enough.
I was going to ask, what's your go-to? Like, what's the one thing you can make for yourself that you're actually pretty proud of?
There's not too much, really, I'll be honest. But the weirdest thing that I probably eat that I will get a lot of hate for, it's tuna, some salad, ranch, and that's it.
Okay, I dig it. As somebody who's, I've been giving a bunch of the guys kind of the gears a little bit here, because they get back home and it's like steak, mashed potatoes when they get to their parents' place or whatever the case may be. Because honestly, when you're a student, you're eating tuna and macaroni, right?
I don't eat too much macaroni, but I will dabble here on there on some KD.
Fair enough. Awesome, dude. Well, one more final question for you. It's one I've been asking everybody here. What would it mean to you to bring home a WCBL championship with the Regina Red Sox?
It would mean the world to me. Everything I've watched growing up with this organization, how it's evolved from 2010 when I started watching them to now 2025. I would do this in a heartbeat and hope I can win it with them.
Well, absolutely. Best of luck in that. Zander, really appreciate the time. Congrats on all the success during your career. Best of luck this summer and beyond. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Thank you very much for having me, and thanks for the time. I appreciate it a lot.
Let's head north to chat with new Saskatoon Berries outfielder Ethan Murdoch. The Swift Current native and former 57s All-Star is looking forward to joining an old friend in head coach Joe Carnahan with the Berries, who finished third in the division with a 31-25 record before beating Medicine Hat in the first round, then falling to Moose Jaw in 3 games. Murdoch has been a major player with Marshall University this spring, hitting .271 with 10 homers and 40 RBI in 55 games.
Ethan, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Hey, Joe, thanks for having me.
How excited are you to get back home, have some home-cooked meals, and play some ball back in the WCBL?
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's always nice to be close to home and see my family come out and watch me play, hopefully. Some people that haven't seen me play for a couple of years, grandparents, stuff like that, family, friends, and just be around that atmosphere again. I love playing in Canada and the excitement that fans have at the ballpark. And WCBL is a really fun league, and I always like the summer ball aspect anywhere, but especially back home. It's really a lot of fun.
It's been a couple of years since you were up with 57s. We'll talk about the switch in a second, but first, when you're home, what's that meal that you got to get from your parents?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would say probably just a good steak and mashed potatoes. I'd say usually first time home in a while, that's usually my mom goes and picks out a good cut of meat and makes some mashed potatoes. That's kind of my thing.
How do you like your steak?
I don't know, pretty boring answer, but medium rare, I guess. Yeah, a little red on the inside for sure.
That's fair. Hey, like I said, you're going to Saskatoon this time around instead of Swift Current. You're following a guy that you know really, really well growing up in Swift Current. Talk about the influence of Joe Carnahan.
Yeah, that's a big part of it for me. I grew up kind of around his teams growing up and watching what was the WNBL team and then turning the WCBL team play in my hometown was really a big part of my childhood growing up, and all the way from when I was 7, 8 years old to being high school. I spent a lot of time watching their games as a fan, and then when I was really young, I was a bad boy for them, and in high school I kind of trained with them, caught bullpens with them on the road, traveled with them, spent a lot of time around them. So, and then just Joe as a coach, worked with him kind of individually and in groups for pretty much probably 10 years, working on hitting, defense, everything in between. So, we have a really good relationship. Goes back a long way, and he's just someone that teaches baseball the right way, keeps things simple, and I know he's a competitive guy, but he likes to play the game the right way, and likes to play it in a fun way, and that's something I'm looking forward to. It's just being able to actually play for him in a competitive setting and not just train with them. That's something I've done for a long time, is just hit with them, and I've enjoyed that, and we have a really good relationship, but I'm looking forward to playing ball in a more competitive way.
As much as you weren't playing in the WCBL last year, I assume you were kind of keeping an eye on things and seeing what that new Berries team was all about?
Yeah, for sure. I always followed it a lot. All the teams, but yeah, it's hard not to notice. The expansion team for sure, making some noise.
Talk a little bit about that outfield, that three-headed monster that I see. You've got Carter back out there. You've got yourself and Jalen Freeman. I mean, you got to be kind of excited about what this team's got up its sleeve heading into this summer.
Yeah, I've really connected with Carter a lot this year and talking throughout the season. And it's hard not to kind of see what he's doing last summer and not even last spring and in high school and everything. I've been following for a long time. It's easy, really easy guy to root for. A guy from small town Saskatchewan who's just worked his way through the ranks. It hasn't really been easy for him. I know how that is, trying to get recruiting out of. I'm from Swift Current, which is a whole lot bigger than where he's from, so I know how hard that is, and I've kind of seen him go all the way through the levels. And like I said, he's got to root for him. I'm sorry, he plays the game the right way. It's fun to watch. He hits the home runs and stuff like that, but he does everything else that he doesn't show up in the box score. Plays a lot of energy, I guess I'd say, and he's just a good dude and someone I've connected with this year. So I'm really looking forward to getting with him and just working, good guy to train with. Off days, early work in the gyms, things like that. And I've seen clips of for him too. He looks like a great player. Another guy who plays with a lot of energy. Fans love him last year, and he really played well down the stretch for him. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun in the outfield there. Hopefully, produce a lot of runs and make a lot of noise for those fans in Saskatoon.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any expectations of yourself heading into the summer?
I don't think so. I would say not in terms of things concrete. I think I need to get better on the defensive side of the ball for sure, and that's a big reason why. I want to get back to playing this right away this summer after the season is just to work on my defense. I want to try to be a little more aggressive on the bases. I think that's something I've maybe got away from the last year or two. So I think that's something I can work on this summer, and that's what summer ball is about for a lot of it. Is you want to win games and you want to enjoy yourself, but a big part is improvement. And I think for me, I'm not saying I don't want to have a good season offensively and drive and runs, because that's something I always want to do, but that's just something I don't want to try to put too much on myself to do necessarily. Just kind of do my thing offensively, be myself, and just try to improve defensively every day. Show up early, work on my defense, They try to be more aggressive in baseball games when they get a chance, and yeah, just see little improvements that way. Maybe harder to measure, but still think I want to see for myself this summer.
Fantastic stuff. Final question for you. What would it mean to you to take home a WCBL championship with the Saskatoon Berries?
Yeah, it would mean a lot. It would mean a lot. I know it's always hard to do, especially in summer ball. There's a lot of challenges coming and going. It's a long summer, but it would mean a lot to me, and just to share that experience with a group of teammates and organization. But not only that, city and fans, and it seems like the fan base is really active and passionate. So that would be the best part. I think it's just seeing it how it impacts the community and baseball, in Saskatchewan as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Well, looking forward to seeing you on the field here in Saskatoon in the not too distant future, Ethan. Best of luck this season, and thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.
And we'll wrap things up with Moose Jaw Miller Express outfielder Jackson Martin. The Grand Coulee native has played a few games with Regina over the last couple of seasons before head coach Eric Marriott offered him a spot with the Millers, who came within an at-bat of taking home the WCBL championship in 2024. They'll be looking to fill a void left by Nate Mensick's graduation, and Martin will likely be a leading candidate for that. He's been playing at College of the Desert, where he hit .230 with 2 homers and 16 RBI in 36 games this spring.
Jackson, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Appreciate you having me on.
How excited are you to get things going with the Moose Jaw Miller Express this summer?
Super excited. Being back at home, Ross Wells grew up playing there in 18U League, and it's just a place that I've really enjoyed playing. And it also factors in that I've had a good experience there with, being able to put up numbers there. And, I'm excited to see what we can do with Coach Eric this year.
You've got a team that is fresh off of a near miss in terms of winning a WCBL championship in 2024. What are you hoping to bring to the table to help them get over the hump and take it all home this year?
Just the timely hits. I think that they had a lot of those last year, but, I'm hoping I can excel in that more this year. I feel that that's more of my game, being able to come up in big moments and just being able to produce with guys and running in scoring position and just getting runs in when we need it. And hopefully that we can continue all the way and hopefully take it home this year and not fall short to Okotoks.
Mm-hmm. When you look at that roster, there's a few changes and there's a few new faces. You're one of them, at least this season. What excites you most about looking at that roster from top to bottom?
Just meeting new guys, honestly. Just being able to connect with new guys. And then, obviously, I got a couple guys coming down from COD as well. And it's just going to be fun traveling around with new guys. And then, obviously, hopefully we can win this all, obviously. But, just taking it slow to start and then capitalizing on the moments that we need to capitalize and win when we need to win.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Coach Eric. What do you think he brings to the table as a coach?
Oh, he brings a lot. He's got a lot of experience being out in Welland. That's a really good experience for players out there and being a coach out there. So I think he's going to be a very mellow coach, and I hope he's going to be a big factor in keeping us calm and collected and keeping us very disciplined. And then obviously winning ball games when we need to win. Hopefully makes the right decisions at the right moment.
You mentioned being back home. You're just a few minutes away from home legitimately. How excited are you to get back home and have some home-cooked meals?
I'm super excited. Being able to be back with my family, getting some home-cooked meals from my mom and dad, it's just going to be awesome.
When you walk in the door and you're like, hey, Mom, Dad, I need this now, what is that food?
Probably moose sausage. It's just something that I've always loved having. It started with my grandpa. He's always made it, and then it's kind of came down in the family, and hopefully they can have some ready for when I'm home.
There's the wake-up call right there for Mom and Dad. Obviously, the other opportunity here in playing at home, close to home with Moose Jaws, you get to have family and friends in the stands. What does that mean to you to be able to do that again after a couple of years away?
It means a lot with my family. My grandparents, they haven't really got to come down to California and see me much, so being a quick 30-minute drive away from home from them, I'm sure they'll appreciate it. I'll appreciate it a lot, being able to have them in the stands and then being able to perform. I think it truly helps me a little bit. Gives me a little bit more time to stay relaxed and just, perform for them and then take it from there.
You're coming off a very solid season down south as well. How happy or how pleased are you with your progress down there?
I'm pretty happy. I think this year I had a little bit of a down year compared to last year, but that's obviously always going to happen when people get new numbers on you. So I think, we second best team ever in COD history. So, I mean, how can you not be happy with that?
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, we fell short to Mount San Antonio, but they're also top 8 in the state right now. So, I mean, you can't be mad about that, putting up 2 good games in playoffs against them, and then it's just them coming back and then wanting more.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything in particular that you're looking to work on a personal level heading into the summer?
Just mental strength, honestly. Just sometimes, I felt myself getting too caught up in the moment, being too emotional, which is okay sometimes, but I think it needs to be toned down a little bit and just becoming more of a mentally strong player.
Fantastic stuff. Final question for you, Jackson. What would it mean to you to bring home a WCBL title with Moose Jaw Miller Express?
Oh, man, that's a great question. Being close to Moose Jaw, growing up there close, I would go there all the time, so, just coming back to a place that, I grew up in and grew up by, I think it would be a lot to me, I'm sure it would mean a lot to the people of Moose Jaw, so, I mean, it'd mean a lot to me, and then obviously a lot to the coaches, a lot to the program, and I'm hoping we can do it this year.
Well, looking forward to seeing you around the ballpark here this summer with Moose Jaw Miller Express. Jackson, really appreciate the time. Congrats on all the success and best of luck this summer.
Thank you.
Big thanks again to Adam Korte, Keaton Husband, Tyler Vanneste, Zander Oudie-Senger, Ethan Murdoch, and Jackson Martin for joining us for the WCBL East Division Season Preview Extravaganza. Again, the West Division will be ready for you on Wednesday, so make sure to hit subscribe wherever you get your favorite shows. As always, a tip of the cap to our Platinum supporters, the Western Canadian Baseball League, Okotoks Dogs, and Under the Lights Sports and Entertainment for their generosity in helping us tell the game stories in our provinces. A big thanks as well to our newest gold supporter, Neutral Hills Academy, who just joined the roster. You can check them all out at albertadugoutstories.com/supporters. Until next time, thank you for all of your support online, on social, and on air of Alberta Dugout Stories.